look at me. Look at me. Okay. Hi, welcome back to Diversify the Verse. This is our June book that I accidentally wrote the description for May. I'll change that. It's gonna say June. No, it's not even June anymore. It's July.
No,
our July
no,
book.
it's August.
Right now. This is our July book. Sorry, I'll fix that. The Brightsiders by Jen Wilde, and let's say hi to Alex. There she is.
Hi guys. Is that the ARC?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the ARC. Oh, this is the hardcover. And I'm actually really glad I have my own copy of this because I liked it.
Mhm. Yeah. It was a fun book. I don't know, because I read this, I have the ARC, so I read it back in, I think, early May, and I really enjoyed it, and it was, I don't know, I just, kind of keep thinking about it. It's just, such a fun book, and so I thought it'd be really great to do as a diversified book, because it is super diverse. There's a lot of, pretty much all the main characters are diverse in some way, whether it be a sexual orientation or racial diversity or things like that. So super diverse, and it's just a lot of fun to read, especially in the summer since it's a contemporary. So yeah.
Yeah, did we read The Victoria in My Head last month?
No, we read that back in April or something.
Oh, really? Okay, well, this gave me that kind of vibes, but after reading that book, I was so ready to jump into another banned book, so I'm happy that we chose this. I feel like right. You guys don't know what's happening beyond this behind the scenes, but Belinda basically always chooses our books, and they always turn out well. So trust her recommendation.
They turned out well. Thank goodness for that.
That's true. I don't remember a single book that's turned out bad. No, I don't know any.
I think my memory is just kind of done. It's been a long day.
Yeah. You've read a lot of books.
We have. We're a year and a half into Diversify, and this fall Alex is moving to Minnesota for college, so it's gonna be really fun. Maybe we'll do a live show together.
Yeah. Oh my god. Wait, so then how do we do a live show with one person? Oh, we can just go live with one.
Just on one camera.
Oh really? Oh, okay.
Maybe we'll do collabs or something. That'd be fun.
Yes. Oh my god, we should.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, should we talk? We normally talk non-spoilery stuff first, right? Yeah. And then we announce our book.
Yes.
So not spoiler. I guess I kind of started talking about it a little bit before, but I just really enjoy this. I was reading it in this when I was in this band phase, and I'm pretty sure I read 4 or 5 books that involve bands or music, and now I started writing a book about a band just for the fun of it. It's complete crap, but I've just really been having a lot of fun with it, and this book. The first couple chapters, I was really, this girl, because she does some kind of crazy things in the beginning, in the beginning there's this huge scandal because she gets in a car accident after underage drinking, and then so I was and she's also Emmy, the main character, is not like me at all. She's super into social media. I mean, I'm into Instagram, but she's into Snapchat, and there's all this slang, and no lie, I had to look up some of the slang because I didn't know what it meant. But I thought it was just really fun. It felt really current right now, and with a lot of pop culture references, and they're using social media constantly, and I thought that was just really fun to read.
So I felt this book, I've never read a book so immersive in the social media, how Emmy brings you along, kind of when she's taking a video, putting something on her Snapchat or Instagram story. It's she's hey guys, right? It's she's holding up her camera and talking as if you were doing it. So that's what I really love, how immersed you were in social media, and how you got a real glimpse inside how everything operated. And especially in the life of it's written so well, the life of a famous person, even though how does the author know all of this? But yeah, I think the main thing that I really love this book, there's so many things in this book that I learned, before
Yeah.
this book, I could confidently say like I wasn't really like I didn't really understand pronouns or like how to properly use them. But after this book, like this is the first book I've ever read that uses they them pronouns. So
Yeah.
there's and I am like shook because like when I first read it, okay, when you first read it, it's kind of like you don't know what's going on, but then you get used to it. And it's something like that is normalized. You know, it has to be normalized. So I think that's just really cool. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. I would say it also like applies with Alfie, who's gender fluid, and it took like a little getting used to. Like the Alfie uses him pronouns, he,
Yeah.
him pronouns, and just kind of like getting used to the pronoun, and then like imagining what Alfie looks like in real life. And
Oh
Alfie
yeah.
is like a heartthrob. I'm kind of in love with him, no lie. Yeah, so I thought that was like really cool too. Like super diverse book. Like, yeah.
But
Okay,
it's
keep going.
also yeah, it's also like she added all these elements in. Like this is like usually like you don't really like see so many diverse people all in one group, right? But like here it's all like one collective like whole book. But like it's not like she's trying too hard to add them in. Like it's all very natural and it's very like um normal. It's just very like just like a fun story with like the really diverse characters, and it teaches you a whole lot. Like if you're not familiar with like the LGBT spectrum, like understanding it, she really kind of like breaks down stereotypes too, which I loved. Oh my god, I love this book because of that. Like I just learned so much, and now I can apply that to like when I need to refer to other people by their pronouns. That especially because I never like how you don't want to ask, like you don't want to say like how do you do this? You don't want to ask questions, right? Because you want people to assume like you know it or whatever. Like that's their culture. So I think this book just taught me it without me asking.
I think also what's great about it, it talks about like a lot of different issues, like the issue of
There's so many.
the conversation of like abusive relationships and like not unhealthy relationships, and also talking about with Alfie some anxiety and like how he gets
Oh
super
my god,
nervous
yeah.
about stuff like that, and also that he's going to therapy, and it takes like a really realistic look on that. Like it's like set in this really extraordinary like world of like celebrity stardom, but there's also like a lot of just kind of things that make it like ground it and make it more realistic.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what else. Like I was just like skim reading it literally like 10 minutes ago. But those are the ones that I can think of right now, and I really enjoyed reading like about that too.
Yeah, like you said, this book just like discovers so many issues. Like I can't even name them all, and I don't probably even remember all of them. Um, and oh my god, I can't like what I vaguely remember is I learned what gaslighting means in this book. Like, well, yeah, like I didn't know what gaslighting means.
I can't think of what gaslighting means.
Like I never knew. Like I've heard of it in television. It's like people on Twitter say it, and they're like, I was just like, what is this? I mean, even when I looked it up on like Google, it's not really clear. Like it's not used in a situation, but this is situational, and it was just a lot clearer. And yeah, I loved it actually. I really love this book.
Yeah, same. I mean, there are some things like just kind of the writing, and sometimes it just seems. I think I wrote this in I have a review up on my blog if you want to read it. But I was saying, I don't know, I guess I was reading the art too, but I don't know if you felt like this. Sometimes like emotional shifts would be like sudden, like all of a sudden, like we're here emotionally, and then we're like, all of a sudden we're crying and stuff. And I'm like, where's the little trail that takes you from here to here? And it was just kind of like sudden, not that it like didn't make sense, but it was just kind of things like that. Or sometimes the dialogue for me felt like a little forced, but
yeah, I didn't like I'll say the same. I didn't really like the writing. It was very like, how do you say this, like very like I feel like it's just she kind of wrote it as she went, because I don't feel like there was a specific plot point. Like there were so many conflicts.
Yeah.
And we never really it was just kind of like a story from beginning to end. Like she just kept writing to see where, like that's what I kind of thought of it. There wasn't a specific plot point or like conflict or like climax, but I enjoyed it. So I kind of like that, just like real and raw. It's just like a story,
Yeah.
a glimpse into someone's life. So I like it.
Yeah. I like that too. Okay. So I guess we should talk about what's happening next month
Yes.
or this month because it's already next month. So in the month of August, since Alex and I are going to be super busy with, preparing for school, end of summer stuff, we decided that we're not going to do an August book, but instead we'll just keep active on Instagram by posting recs since we haven't posted any like real recommendations all year, and there's been a lot of like new great diverse books that have come out and that we have read even if they're not new. So that's what we're going to do for August, and then we'll come back in September with a diverse book for the book club, and then we'll be in the same state. We're actually
Yeah.
gonna go to school like 5 minutes from each other.
Yeah, so I feel like it's just gonna first make things easier, and I really think, like, I promise, like, I know we've been really bad on being active, but I think with us like being closer together now, like we're like just motivated to be more active, and like this is like our baby, like we've conceived this,
Yeah.
so like it's just gonna encourage us to be more active. So I'm pretty sure even when school starts and everything, like we will take time out of our day to do a lot more. Yeah, and we'll be more available. Like.
Yeah, and we have some like other things planned for the fall, so we'll try to kind of use this month as a month to do a lot of brainstorming and figure out what we want to do with Diversify, and just kind of we really want to interact with everyone more and bring you like great content. So maybe
Also,
we'll have some collabs and stuff in our future.
Also, I had an idea. Oh my god, Belinda, maybe we should bring this onto Instagram TV.
Oh yeah, we should do that.
And because we'll be together anyway, so like, yeah, that it just makes. And also, I honestly think you will get a lot more people to see it there. I know we shouldn't be talking about this in the live show, but yeah, we'll discuss it later. But we're thinking about bringing it to other platforms because yeah. All right. So are we ready to jump into the questions?
Yes. Okay. So the first question is always what your first impressions were, and we talked about that. The second question, I'll ask it. How have Emmy's parents made an impact on her character and her relationship with others? I'm not gonna lie, I hate her parents. I mean, how can you not hate her parents? They're terrible parents.
They are.
And I feel like her parents, I think they definitely have like the way that they've raised her, like their own personalities, how they're like always partying and they're never like really taking life seriously, and they're never really like paying attention to her or being nice to her. I feel like that has made her kind of question her self-worth, and that's like a big part I think of her character arc is like her realizing that she is like a deserving person and she doesn't have to like sacrifice herself to please others, because she always like wanted to please her parents, which it kind of affects how she has relationships with other people, like with Jessie, how sometimes Jessie will say like these things to her that are like mean, and she'll just like let her, okay, this is kind of a question later, let her get away with it because like she's always wanting to please somebody, or I guess also with the way she interacts with like the media, how she's she like really wants people to like her, and so I feel like they've made an impact on her character and relationship in that way.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think her parents especially have made her like scared to trust people and like let people in. Because I feel like for most of the book, she's kind of like a follower. Like she like does what she doesn't like put a lot of trust into herself. Yeah, her parents were like, I guess we're going into the spoiler section, but I think it was so, like the part where I got so mad in this book was when her parents sold the tape.
Yeah.
Like what? I didn't even think that was like, I didn't even think they were capable of that. Because I mean, for me, I thought I had a little faith in her parents. I thought they were going to become the people that she needed in her life. For some reason, I thought that, but they didn't end up doing it. So yeah, that's mostly how I feel about them.
They're just like so annoying, especially when like Jessie would take their side too. You know that one they had a breakfast or something together, and then her parents were like making, you know, like those comments that are subtly trying to like insult you, those kind of comments, you know. And like her parents are like doing it to Emmy, and then Jesse's like laughing alongside with
Yeah.
her, and I was like, come on, you guys are terrible. It
And
made me so mad.
yeah, Jesse's a whole other story. Jesse is like not a supportive person at all, and I really do feel like she was in it for the fame. Like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Yeah, like that's the like that in the beginning, like you also kind of like I also had kind of faith in Jessie. I'm like, she's probably I thought this was gonna be like
I think I was just always saying get rid of her.
I was like I thought this is gonna become her arc and this is gonna become like their romance story, but it didn't. But yeah, Jessie was just an overall very she kind of like contributed to a lot of the problems that were created with Emmy, like the drinking. That especially that pissed me off so much. Like
Oh, the one like towards the end.
yeah, like how many instances like are we gonna see this happen? She's just a really bad like role model too. So yeah. Okay.
I don't want to talk too much about Jessie because we're gonna like go
Yeah,
into a little
I
bit
was
more.
wondering, was that a question?
Do you have anything else you want to say on her like parents?
I don't really okay, but to be honest, I don't really remember too much about like that's what I wrote. I have my notes here and I'm like, when her dad tries to sell the tape to them, like why the F would he do that? Yeah, that's pretty much do you have anything?
No, not really. Other than that, I really don't like them.
Yeah. All right.
There's that okay. Well, there's the one I remember because I was skim reading this where they're like there's it was like a paragraph where Emmy was saying like how when Alfie brought like a Malibu beach house for his parents, and then her parents like started complaining like, why didn't you buy us a Malibu beach house? And she's like, I paid off your mortgage, I gave you a convertible, I got you this like guitar from your favorite rock star person, like I did all this stuff
I know.
for you. And
It's like crazy to think like I was also kind of mad at Emmy at the same time for continuously like trying to like she paid off so many things for her parents. She basically allows them to have these parties, these luxurious parties and everything because she's like funding them. And like it kind of got me really upset, but I still understood why. I mean like they're your parents. Like even though people say that all the time, you can't get rid of that fact. Like they're family. And even though you do hate them, they're always going to be family. Family's forever. So, snap.
next question you have.
Next question. How has the media and fame affected how Emmy views herself? So definitely pressures her into becoming someone who she doesn't want to be. But I think the main thing that I want to talk about with this question was the erasure is how you say it? Erasure of like identities and labels in the media that was caused by the fame. And like people trying to tell her like that she's being a bad bisexual, because I don't remember like that's a big problem even now. But like, do you know how when people say like if you're bisexual, it's like it's because you say you're bisexual because you want to like cheat, like you want to like you know like you're like do you know that stereotype?
Yeah, I think I know what you're trying to get
so
at.
like that kind of pressured her into not accepting her label and like not even just that, but accepting her identity, because it kind of made her was like, oh, like people have such a bad view on bisexuals, and this is how they view them. So that definitely pressured her in terms of like accepting her identity and becoming comfortable with it. Because I don't think that happens until like the very middle or like near the end, when she's more comfortable with like her friends around her. Also, yeah, I think it was really random how like in the beginning of this one we were like from the car accident, and then all of a sudden we're transported to like where is it? Hawaii?
Hawaii?
Where did they go? They went like to some resort, tropical
Hawaii?
island. Yeah, they went. It was. I just thought that was so random. Like the huge change. And yeah, and then they spent like how many? Like they spent like I don't know how long, like a few weeks or something. It was kind of like very random shift.
Yeah. You get what I'm saying about like the writing. It's like there's some parts that are just kind of like just not transitioned well, I feel like, or as well as they could have been.
Yeah. And yeah, what else? Yeah, I wrote this quote. I love it so much. Like, I'm so for it. Like, this is like even relatable to like even being on Instagram. It's they see pictures and headlines and videos and assume they know the whole story when those are only a few pieces of a 1,000-piece puzzle that is my life. So they like the media twist everything, and in doing so, they make her not accept her identity, and I guess not like other people when they view it, they also don't like realize what's going on behind the scenes. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think that like the media and fame have a really big like influence on how she sees herself, because I mean, as a member of the Brightsiders, and like in this book, the Brightsiders are like this huge band. Like you have a bunch of people looking up to you, so you have to be, you know, like be really careful about the things that you do and the things that you say, and you know how people see you, because you know like there are a bunch of people that are looking up to you, and a lot of young people too, I think, is in their audience. So I think that like affects, you know, like how she sees herself, and like how you were saying she wasn't exactly comfortable with her label and then being bisexual. And there's like a lot of, I think like after, because she does she like announces it at, they do like a concert, the Brightsiders do a concert, she announces it, and then like the next day she's like watching TV and there's, you know, people discussing it, and they're like, oh, what if this is just like a phase, or what if this is like a publicity thing, or things like that. And I definitely can see how that makes it, you know, really hard to be, you know, confident in yourself and to really, you know, figure out who you are when you're growing up around these kinds of things.
Also, yeah, they are pretty young in terms of like I guess the story, and like when you think of like famous people, like how like young they are famous, they're becoming famous. Yeah, but I think this story just illustrates how hard it is for some of these like famous people to be in the eye of the media and to be held to such standards. Because like we said, even Emmy became very disappointed in herself when she would like screw up, and when the media would like capture it and they would like kind of spin it, but she would be so disappointed herself, and it was kind of like, I guess, causing her to be, you know. And I don't even get me started about Alfie and how his anxiety, like how that like played out in the book, and how she described it was really, I thought it was a really good portrayal. Like you don't really see that, you know, you don't think like, usually when you think of like famous people, you're like, oh, they're so confident, they get up there and they like kill it. But like this was so awesome and real. Yeah, that he's like, he was like throwing it.
Yeah, I really love it when they do look at this like more, like, you know, like I guess I've been talking about this since like Victoria, but like my whole pet peeve about like musician, like books about music, and how everything is always like perfect and like romanticized in like books and stuff. And I really liked having a more like realistic view. Like, you know, even when they're making music, like when they're like writing a song, they're like, okay, we're gonna workshop this, and you know, see like how do you make this song better, because nothing is ever perfect the first time you do, like when you first write something. Like I've written music before, some for like classes, and like some like I've just been trying to write music for fun, and nothing is ever really good the first time you ever do it. So like, you know, getting to see that side of like them actually like working on this stuff, like trying to make it better, or like seeing, you know, the other side of performance, and how you do get like nervous beforehand. And okay, so if you've been on Instagram, you know how obsessed I am with like BTS right now, and I really love with like BTS, they like show this side of them like getting nervous, and they talk about it, and I don't know, I just like really love that. That was
oh my god, she's plugging.
A little more sense when you were talking, but I forgot how I was gonna bring it up. But yeah, I don't know, I really liked how we got a more like realistic view of music and performance. And yeah. I don't know if I have anything else to say.
I related to the anxiety one so much though, because you don't even have to be like playing in front of people. Just like for me, it's presenting things like in school. So just that I have like the same exact feeling that Alfie does, and it's crazy to see that portrayed in a book as something that's like that's normal for this famous, really famous person. So I really,
and it's normal that he's working on it, and he's going to therapy and like getting help on it, and then he's like talking about it with Emmy, and I really like that too, like how there's a part when they're in like Hawaii, and Emmy's like, oh, do you want to talk about this? And Alfie's like, yes, and they just talk about it together, and I really like how we get to see that, because that's a really important like part of how you work on your anxiety or kind of issues like that.
Yeah, and I'm glad that like all the bandmates were really supportive of each other, and I think that also encouraged, like if you were a person with anxiety reading this book, you would be encouraged to talk to someone, and you would realize that it doesn't only happen to it happens to everyone. Like it could happen to this famous person as well. So I really like that part.
Yeah, and going off of that, the whole I'm like some like the whole idea, like when reset the whole unhealthy relationship thing that's in this book, I feel like is really important that it's there, because the audience for YA is primarily younger people, and I think it's really important to show younger people what an unhealthy relationship may look like, because when you are in an unhealthy relationship, sometimes you can't tell.
Yeah.
So like you get to see Emmy kind of work through it, and so I think that's just like something really, really important, and I'm glad she talked about it in this book.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh my God, yeah. I was just realizing that like this whole book is like, I feel like it's important to read as well, because if you're like someone struggling with like your identity, your sexual orientation, and you read this book and you realize that like I read Emmy's story about her coming into terms with her own identity, like it's just gonna fill you with so much like hope, and it's gonna make you really, it's gonna make you empowered. And I love the message that this sends, and how you can get a lot of different things from just one book. So that's awesome.
Okay. So you get to the next question?
Yes.
Okay. Why do you think Emmy keeps letting Jesse get away with things? This girl, Jessie.
I wrote in my notes, I hate Jessie.
I really don't like her. I mean, we kind of talked about it a little earlier, and I think, it does kind of fall back on how she's grown up with her parents, and how she's always wanted to please her parents and has like never been able to, and in trying to please her parents, she's kind of had to sacrifice herself and her voice. And I feel like that is also like the case with Jessie, and how she really wants Jessie to like her, and think she's cool and thinks she's great, and she wants like Jessie's support, and having her is like important, and so why she lets Jessie get away with things in the beginning. Yeah, I didn't get to skim read the end, so it's a little fuzzy.
It's a little. It's also really hard. It's like a really hard to tell. Like we're not Emmy, so we don't really know. But from our like deductive reasoning or whatever, I think it's just because like, she's definitely peer pressured by Jessie a lot of the time in the book, and I just think it's because, like you said, you don't really, like, if you haven't read this book and you don't know what an unhealthy relationship is, I don't think Emmy realizes that, like, she loves Jessie. You know what I'm saying? Like, a part of her loves Jessie. She doesn't realize that that this is bad, or that it shouldn't be like this. And yeah, and I feel like also when we're talking about media again, she's in the eye of the media, so I feel like she wants to keep up this relationship, and she wants everything to turn out well. So she doesn't want to cause any like trouble, even though she did cause trouble. But she didn't want to seem like she was like having a bad relationship, or like there would be like talk about it. So that's mainly why I think it is, but who knows? I can't pinpoint the exact moment when she finally snapped out of it. And I know we all know that she breaks up with Jessie, but like when is that moment? Like, what happened? Like, I know I read the book. Okay, I read the book. But
I like skim read it. It was like when they were at. I was talking about, I think before, how she was at at lunch with her parents. They were having like breakfast with their parents, and then Jessie was kind of like taking their side, and then she started like realizing, she's like, oh gosh, I need to break up with Jessie because this is just not working. No, no, it was that right before the interview, because I just read this. She was gonna do like an interview about her whole big scandal thing, and so she went to meet with her PR person for like lunch, and then Jessie like dragged herself along and started like answering stuff for Emmy, and started like saying all these things. And I think she was like started to say like, oh, you're gonna let this guy like tell you what to do and what to say and stuff like that. Jessie was saying stuff like that. And then that was kind of like when she like realized, I need to break up with Jessie.
Yeah, and in the end, like I skimmed it too, like how when Emmy was telling Jessie like, we need, like, I don't want to be with you anymore, and then Jessie's like, here, Jessie says, that's right, she cheated on me with Alfie, she's a effing W word. And like all these bad words, calling her, and then after that the headlines came out about her like cheating and like all that. So I think that's exactly what she was kind of afraid of. And I honestly thought she was kind of like scared to leave Jessie. Like, let's be honest. And she in the middle, like when we first meet Jessie, she's kind of scary. So that's mainly what I think.
Jessie?
Yeah.
Jessie? Yeah.
No, she's kind of
scary. Very like overpowering.
Yeah, like I can like I don't like there are certain people that you just know like you don't want to mess with. And that's who Jessie is to me. Like you don't want to get into that.
I never liked her, and I was like, from the beginning, I was like, just break up with this girl. Just break up with this girl. She's no good.
I know, that's like we both said, that's why it's important that it's in here, because like, oh my god, what did you just do? Guys, reference.
Yeah. You're the one who could see it, so.
Oh my god. Okay, so moving on from Jessie, unless you have anything else to say.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, Jessie.
I just don't like her.
Okay. Why does Emmy... Oh, wait. I think we kind of answered this. Why does Emmy keep supporting her parents even though they have let her down so many times? I think we kind of answered this before when we talked about her parents' relationship and how that affects like her relationships and herself.
Yeah.
But like we said, like they're family. Like it's... I also think if she didn't support her family, like I think she'd be scared of what they would do, because they would probably like tell the news or whatever, and there would be like this whole scandal about like her neglecting her family or whatever. But yeah, short reason is because they're family. She still loves them even though they consistently do this, because she has hope. Like even we had hope that they're going to be better, and they're going to learn from their mistakes like as they get older, but they never do. So sadly, that's it. That's all.
I mean, that's kind of the reality. You know, there are some people that just, you know, won't ever change. And you kind of got to know when to walk away. Which I think is kind of maybe like an important lesson in this book too. And also just like, you know, Emmy really does want to please everyone, and she really wants to please her parents. And I feel like, you know, even though they let her down, she keeps trying to help them and like put them back on their feet, because she really wants to please them, and she really wants to help them, and yeah, they're her family.
Yeah, and I think she just craves that relationship with her parents as well, so I think she thinks that providing them with all this is going to make them really grateful for her, but honestly, they're just taking advantage of her, so I think she doesn't realize that until, of course, her friends are just amazing. And then they freaking bring her to Hawaii. Like, why can't my friends bring me to Hawaii?
So, yeah, that kind of ties into the next question. How does friendship play a role in this book? Do you want to keep going on what you were saying?
Oh, okay. How does friendship play a role in this book? Yeah, I think her friends, they help her realize a lot of things. I know that sounds like so vague and stupid, But they help her get out of these unhealthy relationships, and they kind of snap some sense back into her. I think they first give her, like, bringing her to Hawaii was to get her away from all the news in the media. And yeah, what was I going to say? Yeah. Do you have something better? I'm trying to think what I'm going to say.
Okay. I feel like, you know, a big part of this book is about like friendship, and it's about friendships like families, because Emmy doesn't really have a very supportive family other than Cassidy, her cousin, and then like Cassie's family, but they've moved away like across the country. So I feel like, you know, her friends have really, and her bandmates who are her friends have really become her family, like, because her own parents suck. And she doesn't really have anyone else that's like nearby that's family. So I feel like that's really important. And you, like you said, her friends really help her realize a lot of things about herself and, like, you know, where she's at. And they are really supportive of her. And I feel like that's just really great. I don't know. I really loved like the friendships in this book. And I really enjoyed reading about that.
Yeah, I like we said, like the diversity in this book. I loved how they could all have something. They were all really supportive of each other. Like, there was no judgment. There was no like questioning. You know, like are you really, or like are you sure? Like any of that. They were just really supportive. They believed in each other, and like yeah, like you said, that's totally true. They kind of replaced Emmy's parents as like the parental figure, and like as a family.
Yeah, her. Like, Chloe brings her into her house. Like, I mean, the whole thing where like Emmy goes to her to live at her house, to hide out at her like parents' house. I'm like, girl, seriously, this is like the worst thing that you could have done. And everyone's like, this is the worst thing that you could have done. And she finally goes to live with like Chloe after the whole mess with her parents. But yeah, I think her kind of, not her parents, I mean, her friends really like take care of her and help her out of this situation and give her the support that she needs to become herself and become like a better person who is in control of her life.
Yeah, I also think it's so cool how she was friends with a YouTube star. Like, that's just so cool. Like famous, like a band, and like friends with a YouTube star. That's so cool. I just think it's so cool. And that also brought us into Chloe's life. How like, how they kind of have this sense of like understanding because they're both famous, so they understand how the media affects, you know, themselves and what they do. So they have a better understanding of each other, which I think is good.
Okay, last question.
It's my favorite question.
Okay, you want to ask it?
Okay. What would you do if the media published a story about you that wasn't true? Well,
assuming you were famous.
Assuming you were famous, yes. Like, if I was, like, let's say I was Emmy. Like, let's just say I was Emmy, or famous for whatever I would be famous for. Okay, like, to be honest, like, I have a really bad anxiety. Like, even when someone now, like, posts a hate comment on my YouTube, which, I mean, it is rare. Like, fortunately, it is rare. But there are those, you know, trolls who are just, like, you know, like, want to, like, mess with people, and, like, they post something. I remember this one time, actually, someone posted a comment, like, and it was, like, kind of made me feel like this person didn't like me, and my first reaction would be like, oh damn, like this person doesn't like me, because like you said, Emmy wants to please people. I kind of feel like I'm the same way, and the first thing I would do is just like reevaluate my whole life. Like, should I be doing this? Should I quit YouTube? Like that's literally what I would think, because I'm so anxious. Like, if one person doesn't like me, like then the whole world must not like me. That's what I usually think. So I think I would just be in a constant state of like fear and just like that people are disapproving, and I would be like, should I just quit? That's what I would do, probably. I would quit. It would convince me to quit.
I would convince you to stay. That's what friends are for, right?
Yeah.
I feel like there are some things that bug me, and then there's some things that I just like don't really care for. Like, I've gotten into fights with people on Instagram.
Like, you've got thick skin.
And I feel like in general, I kind of have a more detached personality from a lot of people. Like, I'm not super dependent on anybody. Like, I'm a really like individual person, and a lot of things. I guess like it doesn't really. I mean, it like bugs me in the moment, but then I can just like have the ability to walk away a lot of the time. And knowing that it's not true, like I've kind of been thinking about this a lot, like this in the past I don't know, year, I guess, about how the outside world will see me and how that's not my fault how you see me. Like the idea of I guess this is kind of, I don't know if I can explain this really, but like I was thinking about like racism and how like how if I could ever change who I am, I wouldn't want to be like, because like, okay, this is what I'm thinking. Growing up, there's times where like I'd wish I would be like I could be white or something. Just because like I think, life would be easier, or like I have parents that are more understanding or things like that. And then now I'm like, I don't want to be anything other than I am. Like even if I had the choice to have like a different background and different skin color, be of a different race, I would still want to be a person of color. And because like I'm proud of that and proud of who I am. And people not liking me because of how I look is not my fault. It's the problem is with them and it's not with me. So I feel like if the media publishes a story about me that's not true, it's like that's not my fault. It's not a problem with me. It's a problem with the media because they're the one who did it, who posted the untrue story. And I feel like, yeah, I guess that's kind of how I would handle it. Like, I feel like it wouldn't let it bug me too much. Like, it'd probably annoy me for a little bit, but I think I could kind of easily get over it. Yeah, and the thing with the media is flies by too, like it goes by really fast, life, and that's kind of the thing that I've been thinking about lately is like not stressing out about like these little things, like little conversations where you're like, oh, I should have done this, I should have said that, or if you get into like an argument with somebody or whatever, like in a week it's gonna be all forgotten. In a month, if it's not like a week, in a month, in a year, in 5 years, they'll completely forgotten about you. And it wasn't even worth thinking about. Overthinking about because I like overthink a lot. So.
Yeah,
I don't know, randomly, but
I think also now people are really obsessed with like setting the record straight, and I feel like I understand that. I get that because I would be so annoyed that these people are trying to make a buck off of like, a lie, and that they're using like me as their kind of like selling point. They're trying to lie to make like money or or just try to convince people. But I definitely would set the record straight. Like I would probably post like a Twitter, like a tweet or like an Instagram story, like explaining this. And whoever wants to leave and not be a fan anymore, then they don't know me, or they don't want to follow me, and I don't want that kind of like negativity. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like what you said about like wishing, like, oh my God, like I can't tell you. And I think this happens to like, I think a lot of people like of color, like because of the current, like the state that we're in, like the long time prejudice, freaking gosh, like years, historical, ancient. But I think that it took me a long time to come to terms with who I am and being proud of who I am. And like, that's something like when you were saying it was so beautiful because it is hard to get those feelings where you'd wish you were like a different race. It's hard because you're like, why am I thinking this? Like, it's not probably not normal, but it takes a long time, but you come to a point where you're happy with yourself, and that's why these books are important, being happy with yourself and realizing that you're important as well. So books are wonderful.
Yeah, like I agree with you. I'd like set the record straight, and I think I just like call it a day. I'm like, told you all that you needed to hear. I'm done.
Yeah, like if you don't want to like be my friend anymore, don't be my friend.
It's not my fault.
Yeah. Like if you don't want to be my friend, just don't be my friend anymore. It's a symbol that even though I would still kind of be like, I would still be thinking about it like, oh, like I lost so many followers. But you would always get that feeling of whatever, like I'm better than this person, or yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the people who are left are the people that really matter. Like if you're gonna leave over this dumb thing,
yeah,
then just leave.
and karma's a big pain in the ass, so don't tell lies about people and don't publish stories. Yeah, trust me, they get those people like the paparazzi get their butts bitten back, so it's all on them.
Karma. Just be a good person.
Okay, well, anything else?
Our last question.
Let's see. There's no more questions, but have you read Queens of Geek?
No, I haven't, but I like their characters are in here.
Wait, really?
Yeah, they like pop up. They're like those two characters they talked about. Like, two characters of Queens of Geek. Like they appear because they were talking about like, oh, there are these people who are at a convention or whatever, and I like, they're the people from it. I don't know if you remember. It was like one scene. They're like kind of friends with each other.
Oh, okay. Oh my god, because I have Queens of Geek, and now that I read this one, I really want to read that to just see like the kind of diversity in that one. We never really talked about the like different things, but there was a lot of like racial diversity, and then like the pronouns, like we said, like that was very interesting to me. Very okay. At first, when I first read it, I'm like, wait, what's going on? What's going on?
Yeah.
But then you start to realize that, oh, okay, yeah, that's something I can get on board with that. And then I started reading it the entire time, and I would kind of expect it whenever we were talking about certain people. And yeah, it was just it's an amazingly diverse book.
Yeah. I think she pulls it off well. You know, like I always have this hesitation with books where sometimes I just feel like they throw in diverse stuff just to be like diverse, or like they'll throw in, you know, elements just to make it like that, and it just like doesn't seem true to the story, and it doesn't exactly work because it just kind of seems like you're forcing it in. Mm-hmm. But I feel like they do really well with that in this book, and I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad we have it, that we read it. Club.
It's so weird because I remember Queens of Geek being like a really popular book, right? I feel like it was really popular. It didn't get as much attention. I mean, I would have never heard of it if it weren't for you. Like, obviously you can tell it's from the same author because, like, look at the cover, like, looks like Queens of Geek. So, I mean, you can probably tell. But other than that, I'm really glad that we're reading this book. Yeah, you kind of don't get that it's about like a rock band. I mean, like a band from this cover. So it's a pleasant surprise. Or yeah.
There's one thing I was gonna say, I guess, is that I really like. You know, if you think about the reality of the world that we're living in, the Brightsiders probably would not be very successful. But with this book, I hope this is like our future. This is what we're moving towards.
Like this, like you're saying now, this is something that wouldn't happen, or
yeah, I feel like it wouldn't.
Yeah. That's true. Like
just, you think about right now, right at this moment. Yeah, I don't think that they would be as widely recognized and accepted.
Oh yeah, definitely. I feel like
this is the future we're moving towards.
Yeah, I feel like this book is what we call ahead of its time.
Yeah,
it's a little baby making its way into the world. But this is the kind of stories we need.
It's also like a really feminist book.
Oh yeah, and like how? Oh my god, yeah, it was. It definitely was, and all like really kick-ass female characters. Except Jessie, you know.
Yeah, forget about that person.
It's a feminist book, except Jessie. That's it.
I mean, we all have to have our villains.
Yeah, that's true. It was like an oddly satisfying contemporary book, like featuring diverse characters and with a good story. Just the writing's a little off, but it doesn't really bother me or anything.
Yeah, it's not like, I mean, it is what it is, but it's still like a really good story with really great characters. So, yeah, that's about it. Do you have anything else you want to say?
But do we have like a theme for recommendations next month? I mean, this month or no?
Do we have what?
A theme? No, right? We're just posting.
No, it's just gonna be.
Okay, yeah. So you heard it. No. You heard it live and in stereo. We're gonna be posting recommendations that are no theme, just like our favorite diverse reads. Yeah, we should do that. Like our favorite diverse reads that we haven't posted about before, because then of course people have already seen it. So, all right. So I think that's it for this live show. It was also a pretty quick one. This is also a lot later than we do our live shows.
Yeah, sorry for the late notice. About it. Yeah. We will try to do better.
Yes.
As BTS always says.
And even though we're taking a break, we're really excited to come back. We're going to be coming back with such new things, and like it's going to be so much fun because it's going to be like a whole different setup and everything. So I just think we have a lot of fun things coming. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So thank you for joining us. If you were here, I don't think we got any comments to reply to. Yeah. But thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching this video until this end point, and we will see you in September.
Yay! So we'll see you on the gram, guys.